Across China, a new mood is taking hold among young people: exhaustion. After years of hard work in school, many expected a bright future, but reality feels much tougher. The era of rapid growth that benefited their parents is slowing down. Now, competition is fierce, and the old paths to success seem less certain. Online phrases like "tang ping," lying flat, and "bailan," let it rot, have gone viral. These terms capture a quiet rebellion, a desire to escape relentless pressure. For decades, Chinese society prized endless effort, believing hard work would always pay off. But today's youth see rising costs, fewer stable jobs, and feel stuck despite their efforts. Lying flat and let it rot aren't about laziness, they're about self-preservation. Young people are searching for meaning beyond work and questioning what success really means. Is a good life about money and status, or something simpler? This generational shift is reshaping China's cultural mood. The dream of constant upward mobility is fading. Many are quietly rejecting the pressure to always do more. Instead, they're seeking peace and balance in a stressful world. These questions, about ambition, happiness, and what matters, are now at the heart of youth culture in China. The answers are changing the country's outlook. A new era of self-reflection has begun. Lying flat, or tang ping, exploded in popularity after a viral post in 2021. A young man described choosing a simple life, working only as needed, rejecting the rat race. His story resonated with many who felt crushed by work culture. Lying flat became a symbol of quiet resistance, refusing to overwork, rejecting the 996 schedule. It's about doing enough to get by, not chasing endless promotions at the cost of well-being. For many, it's a way to reclaim time and control. Some move to smaller towns or choose less competitive careers, valuing free time. Lying flat is a quiet protest, a call for a different way to live and work. Another phrase, "bailan," let it rot, captures a deeper sense of resignation. While lying flat is about seeking peace, let it rot is about surrendering to circumstances. It's a response to feeling powerless. If things are bad, why bother trying? For some, it means giving up on impossible exams or doing the bare minimum at work. Let it rot is more cynical, a sign of disillusionment and emotional exhaustion. It's a way to detach from a reality that feels unchangeable. Compared to lying flat, let it rot is more passive, sometimes even defiant. It's a coping mechanism when hope is low. Online, young people use bailan to express frustration after repeated setbacks. It's not about laziness, but about deep disappointment. Let it rot is a signal that the system is wearing them down. It's a more extreme protest, a sign of emotional survival. These feelings are widely shared on social media. Behind the phrase is a generation struggling with the world they've inherited. They're searching for ways to cope, even if it means letting go. Let it rot is a cry for help, and a sign of a system in need of change. It's a stark reflection of youth disillusionment. The pain is real and it's shaping a new mindset. What's driving this wave of exhaustion and withdrawal? First, the education system. From childhood, students face fierce competition and the all-important Gaokao exam. Years of intense study leave many burned out before they even start working. Then comes the job market. Millions of graduates, but not enough good jobs. Even with a degree, landing a dream job is far from guaranteed. The term "nejuan" or involution describes this, working harder for shrinking rewards. The cost of living, especially in big cities, is another huge burden. Sky-high housing prices make homeownership a distant dream. Even rent eats up much of young people's salaries. Financial stress makes saving or planning for the future difficult. Family and cultural expectations add more pressure. Marry early, have children, support parents. Balancing these duties with career and financial struggles is overwhelming. Mental health issues like anxiety and depression are on the rise. All these pressures combine to create a heavy weight. For some, lying flat or letting it rot is the only way to cope. The system feels unsustainable for many. These challenges are shaping a new generation's outlook. The search for alternatives is growing louder. Young people are demanding change, starting with their own lives. The old rules no longer apply. Across China, young people are sharing stories of stress and choice. Mei, a tech worker, posts, "Another 12-hour day, my brain is numb. Is this life?" She dreams of rest, questioning endless work. Li left the city for a quieter life, choosing happiness over pressure. Online, these stories echo, "We're not lazy, we're realistic." It's not about apathy, but survival and redefining what it means to live well. A new path is being forged, one step at a time. The rise of lying flat and let it rot sparked strong reactions. The government and state media criticized these attitudes as unproductive. Official voices urged young people to be ambitious, reminding them of past generations' sacrifices. Lying flat was seen as a threat to progress and national goals. Policymakers worried about the economic impact. Who will drive growth if youth opt out? The government promotes the Chinese dream, emphasizing hard work and prosperity. Lying flat challenges this narrative, raising fears of lost dynamism. But not all responses were negative. Some academics and commentators acknowledged the real pressures: 996 culture, high costs, job insecurity. They argued these movements signal a need for systemic change. Discussions began about improving labor laws and supporting young people. The government's response has been mixed, promoting hard work, but also regulating excessive overtime and recognizing mental health issues. It's a delicate balance, maintaining growth while addressing youth well-being. The conversation is ongoing with no easy solutions. The debate reflects a society in transition. Some see lying flat as a warning sign, others as a call for reform. The government is listening, but change is slow. The future depends on finding common ground. The well-being of a generation is at stake. The story is still unfolding. The search for answers continues. The feelings behind lying flat and let it rot aren't unique to China. Young people worldwide face similar pressures: high costs, job insecurity, burnout. In the US and Europe, quiet quitting has emerged, doing only what's required, not letting work take over life. In Japan, the Frieder and Satori generations choose part-time work and simpler lives over traditional careers. South Korea's NPO generation gives up on relationships, homeownership, and more, overwhelmed by pressure. These trends reflect a global generational shift. Young people everywhere are questioning old definitions of success. They're seeking new ways to live fulfilling lives. The search for balance, meaning, and well-being is universal. China's youth are part of a worldwide conversation. The challenges may differ, but the questions are the same. What does it mean to live well in today's world? The answers are still being written. The movement is global. Young people are redefining ambition everywhere. The world is watching and learning. The future of work and life is up for debate. The conversation is just beginning. China's story is part of a much bigger picture. The echoes are everywhere. The search for a better life is universal. Lying flat and let it rot highlight a generational gap in China. Older generations remember hardship and see hard work as the path to a better life. They expect their children to follow the same path: good job, marriage, property. Many older people see lying flat as laziness or ingratitude. We had it harder and didn't complain, they say. But young people face new pressures: fiercer competition, uncertain rewards, and diminishing returns on effort. The old rules no longer guarantee success. Social media amplifies these differences. Young people connect online, sharing frustrations and building a shared identity. Movements like lying flat spread quickly, reinforcing generational divides. Older generations may not understand these online worlds, widening the gap. Understanding this divide is key to making sense of the new attitudes. It's not just about individual choices, but about changing times. The world young people inherit is different from the one their parents knew. Bridging this gap will require empathy and open dialogue. The conversation is just beginning. Both sides want a good life, they just define it differently. The challenge is finding common ground. The future depends on it. The generational divide is real but not unbridgeable. Change is possible if both sides listen. The story continues. The search for understanding goes on. What do lying flat and let it rot really mean for China? Are they signs of crisis or a new way to live? These movements reflect real distress, young people overwhelmed by pressure and uncertainty. But they're also a rational response to changing realities. Maybe lying flat is about finding a more meaningful, balanced life. It could spark new values and priorities, even positive change. These trends raise big questions. What is a good life? Is it just economic success or something more? How can society support its youth better? These are global questions, not just Chinese ones. The future of work and ambition is being redefined everywhere. Lying flat and let it rot are complex, part protest, part search for alternatives. They challenge the status quo and force society to rethink. Perhaps ambition is being reimagined, not as a relentless climb but as a quest for a sustainable, worthwhile life. The story is still unfolding. How China and the world responds will shape the future. The next chapter is being written now. The conversation is far from over.